Feed me. Feed me more. Feed me more.
Welcome to the Ryback Show, Monday Live. I am the big guy, Ryback. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Streaming live on Instagram and and Twitch. We are on Twitch. TikTok, the big guy, Ryback 22. Appreciate you guys all joining me. Ryback TV on YouTube, Ryback Rules on Twitch, and Ryback on Twitter. As always, super chats are guaranteed to get pulled up and answered on the screen for YouTube. Otherwise, other questions that come in through Twitch and YouTube, I will try to get to as I see them. Try to get to some questions on Instagram and TikTok if I see them. It's a little more difficult streaming on the different devices and looking as I've got them all situated up here. As always, guys, today is the final day for Feed Me More Nutrition. To get this out of the way up front, our 30% off Black Friday sale, discount code Black Friday 30, Black Friday 30 to get 30% off on Feed Me More Nutrition on feedmemore.com. You also get a free Feed Me More Nutrition Premium Hungry Shaker bottle right here. Just select it as your free gift. I'm giving you one of these for free, and it's the final days to enter my $1,000 November cash giveaway on December 1st. I'm going to be calling one of you, giving you $1,000 cash for buying the best supplements on the planet. Not a bad little deal if you ask me. So save 30%. Premium supplements, no artificial sweeteners and colors, stevia and monk fruit sweetened, vegan-friendly, gluten-free, guys. Supplements. Spit it out, Junior. Supplements for everyone. Feedmemore.com. Check it out, guys, and let me know what you think. If you've never bought anything, sign up. We've got text and emails, a program you can sign up for. You get exclusive discounts. Like today, I can't say, but our subscribers got a Cyber Monday sale that is out of this world. And every week, always hooking up the text and email subscribers. It's just, we don't spam, no BS. I just give you big discounts every week. And yeah, that's that with a message from the big guy, usually a message of positivity or motivation. What is going on? We do have our Too Sweet blood sugar support as our newest supplement. I see another good question up there I'm going to get to on wrestling changing. Cowboy, thank you for the super chat. Thoughts on keto? Pretty safe. Hope all is well. So great question. I did keto for quite a long time and tried it. I say a long time in the context that I tried it and tried to. I tried it for so long. This was back when I ate meat and dairy, and I will say this without a shadow of a doubt. It was the unhealthiest I've ever been. My body fat went up. My body weight went down. I had the keto meter. I still have it. I could never get into ketosis. I went weeks into, like, I think 2 months was the longest where I kept the carbs just dirt low. Would not happen. And I wasn't happy. And I talked to some of the other keto doctors, and I just started really, I kept waiting for it, like this magic, like it's going to kick in at some point, and it never did. Now, not to say that can't happen for other people, but I just believe when you shut out food groups, specifically foods with all the nutrients in them, that's not the play. And I look and feel a million times better on the vegan diet. And I believe that is what we're meant to eat. And I eat more protein than the majority of human beings. I still eat 350 grams of protein a day over the course of 4 meals. It's not that difficult. And it's actually extremely easy once you learn the foods. I'll say eating vegan is way more fun because you learn the foods that we're not necessarily taught from a young age. Because I shouldn't say we're not taught, but the emphasis is just such, especially if you're an athlete or bodybuilder or power lifter or fighter, the emphasis is just so much on on animal products. And I've worked and talked to different what's a nutritionist where they're like, well, the vegan diet is superior, but we got also for accessibility and convenience, the animal diet is easier for people. And I look back and I'm just like, man, if you're an athlete or and like you're picking just something because it's easier, at least, and I don't want to offend other people in a time try, but like that, no. If I did that, I'd be like, I'm being a piece of trash, trying to word myself correctly here on all the platforms, being a big punani. You know what I'm saying? So I don't like it, man. I personally don't like it. And a lot of those keto doctors, they're selling just straight up supplements to like to get into ketosis and all this stuff. And you know what? I actually tried a couple of them and they didn't work. So and I just don't I just my energy levels and don't get me I got by doing it and I kept trying to tell myself that it was like it's okay. And it wasn't. And that's not to say you can't do like no carbs and that for short periods. I do think that could be beneficial, especially for flushing out water and losing some body fat, but you can't do it for too long. And I remember one of the doctors goes, "Well, it might take a couple of years to get in ketosis." And I'm just thinking, a couple of years? Like that right there tells me, not today on the big guys watch, doc. We've got a thank you for the question though, Tim Katshiv, Tim Katshiv. Are you Russian? The super sticker for 5. Thank you very much, buddy. Greatly appreciated. How do you? Great question. How do you minimize muscle loss while on a cutting phase? So the key on that is keeping your strength training intact and trying to keep your strength uh, is as much as possible. And we do that by not going too crazy. I'm like, oh, I want to get cut up. I'm going to do 20, 30, 40 reps. I do believe doing some sets, super high reps, are beneficial in the sense of if you're an endurance training athlete, if you're a fighter, if you're a pro wrestler, where you need your body you need conditioning in your upper body as well. So it depends on what you're training for in that. But as far as for your question on holding on to muscle mass, you wanted that 4 to 6 rep range is where you could really, really hold on to your muscle. And again, you could still do your 10 to 12 reps on things, but incorporating some serious 4 to 6 rep sets on your lifts, whether it's 1 or 2 per set, I think is a great way. And I found this that when cutting where I hold on to my muscle mass on that. And I think that's something that it's inevitable though, the more you're cutting and it's a fine line on consuming adequate calories, getting your cardio in, keeping your metabolism healthy. And it's something where a lot of us do, and I've done it, where we do it for too long, too extreme, and it just eventually just like kind of hit a wall. And that's where, there's so many different things and uh, there's some really, really intelligent people out there. And I do think this for like, I'm completely against the drugs and the whole bodybuilding and powerlifting, all the people that do them. I hate to see it because they don't know what they're walking. If they don't know what they're walking into, or they're just completely ignorant to the fact of thinking long term. And the long term isn't that like far around the corner for a lot of them. But you see a lot of the young guys, and I mean they're taking massive amounts, and they're getting numbers that they would get nowhere near, and they're getting the attention and whatnot. But they're gonna be 35, 40, 45 with severe issues, and we're seeing a lot of them drop dead. And we're going to see more because so many people are doing it for attention now at way higher amounts than they ever used to. And it's a scary thing with all of that. But I think as far as like there's some really intelligent nutritionists and people still in that field though that are really good with like the feeding and the refeeding and keeping the metabolism good. You just got to find one though that's not drug oriented and knows how to get results not on drugs because the majority of them that can get the results on drugs don't know how to do it without the drugs because they're so reliant on the drugs, if that makes sense. That's why I would always, but there's some really intelligent people. And I know somebody that does like fitness shows, and their coach doesn't look like they've ever done anything. And I just look at that and like I just go, that's not someone that you want to be leading the way um, on that sort of thing. In my opinion, that's never done it, doesn't have the experience, and doesn't look the part. because what they are telling you, it's the blind leading the blind on that. And I think there's a lot of good information online and whatnot, but you gotta that 4 to 6 rep range, in my opinion, from what I've seen and experienced, is great from a training standpoint of holding on to your muscle mass as much as possible. And again, you got to make sure your calories are where they need to be. And it's a lot of trial and error, you know. Timmy G with the super shot. Thank you very much, buddy. Should pro wrestling highlight combat martial arts like boxing, MMA, sumo, along with strongman contests, or be kept apart generally? No, I think pro wrestling is pro wrestling, and I don't think you need to. You can't mix pro wrestling with other things because pro wrestling is unlike other things. Pro wrestling is physical acting, and it's the hardest thing on the planet. And the majority of those other guys can't go into pro wrestling and pick it up overnight and excel at it and succeed at it, and unless they put in serious training and really accept it, it's I've seen so many elite people from other things come in and just fall on their face and they can't handle it. I do believe you have to have been a fan of pro wrestling in some regard, in some way, shape, or form. You have to have something that as a kid and I just feel like the people that succeed at it have something at some point in their life where they like, you know what I mean? Where they had a love for pro wrestling, even if it was a short period. Like there's just has to be something that draws you into that and that. But I don't think you need to be intertwining that stuff too much. It's just as you see, and I talk about this. Michael Jordan, arguably the greatest basketball player, if not just one of the elite basketball players. You know what I'm saying? Just amazing talent, right? And he goes and tries to play baseball, and he wasn't the best baseball player. He wasn't horrible. And there's guys that have done both and succeeded, but like it's really difficult to be like really really great at multiple things because in order to typically get great, it has to consume you in your time, and not to say that people can't, but it's very difficult with that. And it's like we saw it too, like with the Frank Mir, uh, in boxing, a top level boxer, and I actually respect and I know what he was doing because in his mindset, and the guy's a go getter, and he's arguably just tough as nails. But he's at a point in age in his life, right? And for you guys that saw the knockout online, I hope to God he's all right because he's a great guy, and I've never met him personally, but know mutual people, and from everything I've ever heard about him is all great with that. But I think he was at a stage where he's like, if I'm going to do this, I got to see if I have a chance to do this, and hopefully got an amazing payday, and went in there because in that mindset, it's well, if I win, I could actually maybe do something with this and get some more fights and make some serious money. And at the end of it, if not, he's at the age, well, if I'm not able to compete at this level, then at least I know I tried and I could, I can go out and whatever his mindset is on that. But it's that hungry, go for it all attitude with it. A lot of people don't understand that. And they're like, well, he had no business being in there with that. Well, what do you want him to do? Pad his record for 5 years if he's in his 40s and he's at the end of his career and he knows that, right? Wouldn't you want to go for it and see if you have a shot? Well, because every year that goes by in that, and fighters, and it's much more difficult. And he's had a hard career as far as he's been fighting for a long time, a lot of abuse on the body, right? So, and I just think it's very difficult to succeed at multiple things, and for wrestlers and for people outside of wrestling to want to come in there. And not to say you can't do things if it's really, really, really mapped out, because you can, and it's been shown that you can, but it's not easy. Try Captain Morgan 100 proof. Big guy, 7 shots. I'm a big fan. Yeah, I stay away from the hard liquor. That's I don't know if that's something a road I want to go down. Red wine, maybe the seltzer, the vodka seltzers, or the is maybe the extent of having hard liquor is having a couple vodka seltzers with a little red wine. once a week on my drinking night. Usually it's just red wine. I say that because last week it was a bottle of red wine and a couple of vodka seltzers, which those damn things go down pretty damn smooth. But that's the extent of it. I stay away because the hard liquor, you can just it's really easy to go too far on that, wake up feeling hungover, dehydrated. I get up at between 4:30, 5:30, kind of in that window, depending on when I get to bed. I don't need to be feeling like crap. We say it's a shame what happened to Frank Mir, but you got to understand, fighters. That's what you go in there for, the challenge. And granted, that was a tough thing to watch, right? But I say this, and they're wearing the MMA gloves. How tough is Frank Mir? He got knocked out on his feet and he's still standing. That, to me, not to say that if it would have went on that he would have gone down, but it was. And I know he was in the corner, but that guy, he didn't go down. That guy got a free shot off on him too, and whether he pulled back a little or not, but it looked pretty damn clean. And thank God he missed that uppercut. But to how many people would be able to stay on their feet from a heavyweight blow like that? It's tough, man. But that's what you go in there for, and you do that, and you challenge yourself. Like, he got to the top in his field, right? Has some huge major wins in his career, and chose to try something else. He has a daughter that's in combat sports. He leads by example. He takes challenges. I think if you look at everything in the context, and you'll see the people that leave the comments in the comment section, man, you got to disregard them. They don't get it. And most of the guys and that do that, and they do it for the journey and for the challenge, and for the lessons that they learn along the way. That's why you see such tight bonds with like fighting camps and people that do that sort of thing. And the same thing exists in wrestling to a degree when you go through the same thing and you're learning and whatnot. So it's at the end of the day, you've got people going out there and challenging themselves and putting it all on the line. And then you've got like the spectators that talk trash, that have never done anything in their lives, right? And that's always, but I always, it's like Conor McGregor though. He's fighting the best of the best, right? It's like, but if he loses, it's, oh, he's a bum, he sucks. But and then it's like, well, why isn't the focus on, no, just two elite fighters fought and the better guy won that night? But people are, and then it's that lower level mindset of people, which is toxic, which is why I think it's so important not to get too caught up on that on social media. I say block them out because it's very dangerous to be around. And if I ever meet anyone in real life that has that mindset, I distance myself from them because I go, they don't, that's not somebody that their vibration isn't something I want to be around. They're not living the same life I am. Super chat God's Warrior says, howdy, Rye. In your opinion, during your time in wrestling, what was the drug of choice that wrestlers used? I don't, there was a drug testing policy, first of all. And if, like, the only thing is marijuana and alcohol and chewing tobacco. That was, and those were the three that wrestlers will, not saying there's people that don't do any of it. And I didn't do, like, I did chewing tobacco for a while. I never did marijuana, and there were fines for that. And so I never, but I don't like it to begin with. Doesn't give me, I'll take red wine over that all day long. And chewing tobacco off and on for years, and been off of that, thank God, for many years. Just, but it was a very, that helped. It didn't help. It actually made it worse, but it was something to do in a toxic, stressful environment. At the end of the day, that I take responsibility for doing, to fill the time, and then you do it on the road. But it's just so bad for you with that. Those would be the three on that. Who else do we got? Yeah, I actually do on TikTok. We've got the Q&A fixed on TikTok finally. I'm waiting to see if they're going to help me with the account. The account has been very down the last month, and I'm seeing if they get back. We've got the Q&A fixed on there. But I did put up a Q&A because one of the questions was, when you come back to wrestling, would you go back to WWE or AEW? I think people know but I leave it up. I go, you guys tell me where you want me to go in the comment section on TikTok, and that's starting to take off. We have a lot of people commenting on that over there. But the goal is to get my shoulder where I need it. I just saw my therapist yesterday. We did another 90 minutes. We got a ton of scar tissue on the front. It feels very good today. I've got to get my scapula free. My scapula is trapped on my rhomboid in my trap. There's two areas where I have to get it to be free. And I could tell you, like today, I went to the gym and did arms and came home and trained more at my Feed Me More fitness gym here. My weights keep going up. My strength is going up, but I got to get it to where my shoulder, if that is free, I don't have any issues. There's no issues because compared to where I was years ago, I'm so good right now. But I need to get to the point that I could do anything and continue to train and not just go back to wrestling. And then all of a sudden I'm in pain. I need to start taking ibuprofen, or it gets to the point where I'm like, God, I need pain pills to go wrestle. I'm not going down that road. I'm not doing it. I just would rather take the time and fix something that's never been fixed before, and we're doing it, and we're so close, and then go back, and there's no issues. I haven't aged. Even though I have gotten older, I feel better than I've ever felt. I take care of myself. I'm vegan. I've had all these stem cells. It's gonna be apparent when I come back. It's not gonna be one of those situations where go, Jesus, he doesn't look anything like he used to. It's gonna be, this guy's better than he's ever been. He came back hungrier than he's ever been. Jesus Christ, where has he been? That's what's going to happen. I'm calling it right now because I know I've kept my training at a high level, and I know the confidence that I have. And everything is so great in my life. I'm not worried. But when the timing is right, and I've talked about it, I'll pick up the phone and I'll call who I need to call, and everything will get worked out. There's no point in doing that until I know the exact time that I'm ready to go back. And I've said that over and over again, and some people don't quite understand. And I don't need to go back I don't need to go do commentary. When I come back, it's going to be a surprise, and it's going to be a cool moment for me and for hopefully for a lot of people. Super chat, Tim Katshiv. Do you have some tips on how I could be recognized on YouTube? Because I have several videos on another YouTube channel. You just got to continue to post content, and you got to promote yourself. I think following Gary Vaynerchuk, he gives a lot of great advice, and he's helped me embrace social media, and I've gotten very good on using it for what I need to use it for, and using it in a good way, and not getting caught up in all the bad. And I live in the real world as much as possible, but I hustle my content out and put that out. I try to have some interaction, but I'm living in the real world as much as possible. But you got to promote your content. You got to do the YouTube video. You got to edit a little clip and throw it on your TikTok, then you gotta put it on your IG and share that with your Facebook. You got to get a Twitter if you want it. Like Snapchat would be beneficial. You gotta go. I have it a little easier in the sense that people know me from that, even though my content's being suppressed massively, which has made it actually more difficult because there's such a small percentage of my following. It limits how fast I can grow, and because I've seen how fast it is when it's not suppressed, and when it is, it's night and day. With that, you don't have that problem. You just gotta get people to see you and put out content that people want to see, and there's plenty of people out there doing it. So you just gotta do what you enjoy, but you gotta put it out there. And things take times. A lot of times people, take many years to become successful and to start getting attention and whatnot, especially on YouTube. So I would just be patient, man. TikTok, do we have any questions on the old TikTokster? How was it being Intercontinental Champion? It was just, to me, it was cool. After winning it in the back, a group of talent that was back there waiting, that I wasn't expecting, and a lot of the guys I came up with, and That was the cool moment. Other than that, I look at it. I love pro wrestling. I grew up with it. It is a business, and I don't get too caught up in like and that was based off how my experience kind of went up there with that. And don't get me wrong, everything is cool and whatnot. But at that point in time, mentally, with where I was, it was not. It was nowhere near as enjoyable with what it probably should have been. It was just there was so much going on behind the scenes already at that point. I was so hurt and I was so unhappy on so many levels in life and with that whole entire organization that it just was not it wasn't special in any way, shape, or form. And that's not a bad. It was just what it was on that. Hello, hello, Instagram. Thank you guys for joining. Do I think men's mental health is discussed only after they've suffered? I don't know. I think we all have. I'm man. Life's not. Life is what we make it, and there's things that happen. And I talked about it earlier. I put out a thing like shit happens, and everybody's born and everybody dies, and in between that, there's good stuff and bad stuff, and it's our mindset and our ability to overcome negatives and shift into positives as quickly as possible. And the people that do that more often than not tend to find more success and happiness. The people that decide to stay stuck in the negatives and dwell on the past and stay caught up and stuck and regard and, dis, and I understand there's different levels to all of this. Then they stay in that and they don't take action and they don't get out of it. They stay stuck in the swamp, so to speak. So, but I think most people depends. It takes a lot of work. Life takes work though on anything. Nothing's easy. The people that you see succeeding, there's so much work that goes in. I listen to audiobooks on after audiobook after audiobook. I read books. I'm constantly trying to learn and apply and do things. It's like my business and brand and where I've gotten this, and people think, oh, you've got it so easy, you've got it made. You don't know the work that goes in. You just see such a tiny little thing. And that's why I've seen the people, that's why I talk about the hashtag hungry mindset. It really is like, and the people that have that do well in life, and the people that don't usually struggle and stay stuck. And we all have the key to happiness inside of us. We just got to decide to turn it and unlock it. And we all have the ability to do that. But life takes work. Anything takes work. Being sad takes work. Being depressed takes work with that. If you want to be happy, be positive, it takes work with that. Everything takes work. What direction do you want to go? Some people can talk about their problems. Some people can't. Why do I do this? I try to give you stuff so you guys can take little things and maybe apply it. And if it works, great. If not, it doesn't with that. But I don't get too caught up. I'm a big believer in enjoying life to the fullest in the sense of, man, there's a lot of great stuff that happens in the world, and there's a lot of bad stuff. I think so many people, and I've read different books on this, and it's so true that they just can't accept happiness because they'll be like, well, there's people suffering out there. Well, that's their lives. That they have to fix that. If we just choose to constantly because things are good in our life, then like, oh my God, so many other things are suffering, so I have to suffer. No, 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 no. The greatest thing, and this is my belief, is get as wealthy as possible, and money can actually solve a lot of things where you can invest and do some different things to help different causes, right? And actually make a real change with that. And if those other people want to devote their whole lives to that, then great, because you're never going to fix it. There's just too many people, and that's why we need to push out the mindset. And that's the greatest gift is if people can embrace a positive, hardworking mindset, the world will ultimately be a better place. But that's such a test because you have so many people. We've created a system in the government that rewards people that don't work, right? That, hey, if you can't take care of yourself, the people that pay taxes will. It's a really screwed up system that we live in when you break it down. So I don't, there's people out there, no doubt people suffering. I've got problems. We've all got problems. You overcome it. And if you don't, you don't. That's life. Maybe next time you will. That's just my mindset on it. Uh Azu 2, thank you. Do you know the legend Fekete Laszlo's natural powerlifting athlete for Hungary? No, I've never heard of him, buddy. I'll look up Fekete and see if something pops up. Fekete Laszlo's. Ah, what else do we got going on? Hey, Walter, good to see you, buddy. Good question. Why is plant protein powder better than whey protein, you think? Well, one, and especially with dairy and inflammation on that, and it's you're not getting that with the plant protein. And they're complete proteins with the pea and the rice, so it's not a matter of that. And we list all the BCAAs on there. You're not getting the animals the suffering and with the cows and the whole dairy industry and what's going on with that. And but outside of that, it's just superior. It doesn't cause bloating. It doesn't give I like, and this is in my experience and other people I've talked to. It doesn't like whey protein would make me more often than not. And there wasn't like like the grass fed ones were better that we did. I felt like that didn't do it as much. But I remember before I started my own brand, a lot of the proteins I had would make me sick. Where I quit consuming protein for a long time, the powder, because it was making me nauseous, and that was because of the artificial sweeteners in it and all the other garbage with it. So it's just better all the way around, and it doesn't get you don't get the bloating and the gas. I find from it at all with that. So they just nailed our plant protein, the ISO Hungry. They just nailed the vanilla mocha frappuccino. So we have that and creamy peanut butter, and I got to decide which one to do next because they're both amazing. And then I did the vote on Instagram, and they tied. They legit tied. Like it was 50-50. And I go, damn it. So I guess that's a good sign that you can't really go wrong with that. I know, generally speaking, though, peanut butter does really well, and peanut butter I do believe appeals to more people than because you have coffee lovers and you don't have coffee lovers. Even though mocha, the vanilla mocha frappuccino doesn't taste like a regular black coffee or anything, but um, that might be a case like I'm leaning like for me, I go, oh, I wouldn't mind having that vanilla mocha frappuccino out now, but I go from business sense, I go, I do believe that the consumers would like a peanut butter in stock first, but we'll have to see. Great question. A chimpanzee-sized Ryback versus a gorilla-sized Miz. I'm going to go with the chimpanzee-sized Ryback. Pretty confident on that one, actually. Pretty confident. Yes, Optimum Nutrition. I do believe they do have a natural protein, but they've got a ton of supplements without it. And any company that's selling it to begin with, I just don't, you know, I just question everything they do. Timmy G, one time I watched you live in an arena in London, UK in 2010 during the first NXT. Was it a brand that originally had the right mindset for developing people? I remember that actually. That was because we were all, man, that was, we didn't know what, I can't remember because every week Heath would be like, man, we're going to do a hot dog eating contest. And every week we really thought that was going to happen because that would be one, I would no doubt probably win that. But two, at least it wasn't is like ridiculous as like we had it. Oh, we did that was the promo. That was the nightmare for me. That was the death of Skip Sheffield on that show. That was because we had to do impromptu promos, and I was a master. I would have multiple like I'm so much better now at talking off the cuff than I ever was then, even though I was still as Skip Sheffield, especially that, I wasn't horrible, but I wasn't as good of a storyteller yet. I was still developing on that and getting comfortable. But I would have pre-made promos that I would come up with because we used to have to do promo class with Vince and everybody in there where they'd give you a word. And so you had to do so I would come up, I would literally take time and come up with promos where I could interchange words and almost like and it more often than not it would work. And it got me it saved me multiple times. So, anyways, I did one of those on the first promo. I had a plug-in one, and it worked. And Daniel Bryan was pissed off that they allowed. Like, I remember he was like, it was mostly Dan was like trying to was upset that my plug-in promos was working, and then finally it came down. I didn't know. That day I only had one promo because I thought we were just told we had to do a promo, and it came down. I think it was me and Wade where we had to do an impromptu sudden death promo, and I had nothing. And I remember I don't know what my word was. It was something with gum, and it was an English gum, I think, and I had no idea what it was. But Wade knew, and I just completely. I think I ended up saying like something, and that's the bottom line because I literally had nothing. Had nothing. Wade came back and called like Skip Sheffield rocks for brains. Destroyed me. Destroyed me in his hometown. Huge pop for that. That was the momentum shift. And thank God, because I didn't want Skip Sheffield winning NXT. And Vince had already told me he wanted me to get away from the silly stuff and be myself. And but we had to get away from it and not overnight. So it was a blessing in disguise. But me and Wade will routinely laugh about that. Rocks for brains, Skip Sheffield. But my plan had backfired royally that night. That season was fine though. Everything was just to appease Vince, and it was a game show for Vince. Is all that it was. It wasn't. It wasn't the. I have no issues with it though, and everything worked out for all of us, right? That pretty much on the show. Thank you again, buddy. Azua 2. Ryback, you are much stronger than the strong people in our world living in Hungary. Ryback. Thank you, buddy. Do I prefer smoothies or shakes? Well, I blend my protein in the blender with a little bit of water and ice cubes. And usually for the caramel cookie, I so hungry, I do a little scoop of peanut butter as well with that. I actually, speaking of kitchen appliances, my popcorn. I got a brand new popcorn machine, brand new, going to get broken in tonight. My popcorn machine, the engine blew out. The engine, the blower blew out last night, and I actually had to make my popcorn on the stove. And for the first time since I was like a kid, which wasn't bad at all. But I don't. I use a little bit of olive oil, and I don't like using the oils. I try to avoid them, but I do have some. Thank God, because I wanted that popcorn last night. Rocky 01542 says, "Would you ever react to Skip Sheffield videos?" Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I haven't seen. I don't watch. I don't watch a lot of Skip Sheffield stuff. It was such. I remember, and it was so much fun doing it. But it was me just playing. It was essentially just be as stupid as I want to be, and it all worked. Especially in FCW, WWE was a little different. And Skip Sheffield, Skippy never got a fair shake. And actually, thank God, because God forbid that would have got over and get stuck with that whole thing. But getting paired with William Regal, which was a gold from a character standpoint, and we had some funny segments, I thought. But the music, Skip Sheffield having to come out to that William Regal theme song, which only William Regal could come out to that theme song. No other wrestler can come out to that and get. It was such a dark, just down song for that character, and it really took the that really took the just it made it very difficult. What else do we have going on? Come on, man. Come on, man. What else do we have going on here? As always, guys, we have as always. I keep saying as always. Our Feed Me More Nutrition Black Friday sale ends tonight at midnight. Discount code Black Friday 30, Black Friday 30 on feedmemore.com to save 30%. Trying to see if we have any other good questions here. Thank you very much for the comment on the memories. It's always very cool seeing the young kids. I remember, and I had a very very good following on that, and a lot of them, and I get to meet them in real life when kids are teenagers in high school, and they come up and say, "You were my childhood. You were my favorite." That's pretty cool. So, and that's good because I wasn't there horribly as long as I even wanted to, but it was on TV for 4, and then but a little almost 5 from when I started doing maybe 4.5 when I was back doing live events and whatnot. So, but to make an impact in that short period of time, and that's not a short period of time, but it's not as long as what I would have preferred, obviously. But that's a pretty cool thing. Our plant protein is keto friendly as well, and it mixes like whey. It is the I'm telling you, it'll be the best plant protein that you have. William Schaffner, thank you, buddy. Who was the most challenging person to work with in WWE? Thanks. That's a tough question. Everyone was pretty. I think it was just always. I have said this before. I think it's always more difficult working a bigger guy because, like, if they tell me and Seth Rollins, we got to go out there and wrestle, and we don't have time to talk about anything. Um, we'd wrestled each other enough, and it just could do you could do almost anything. But if you tell me like, hey, you and Big Show got to go out there, or Great Khali and or like Kane, where you have these guys that are legit monsters, where you got to do different things, and like, but I'm the big straightforward monster, depending if I'm the heel or the baby face. It just makes it if you're a heel, it makes it a little easier. But in that situation, if I'm a baby face and got to be aggressive and forward moving, as far as how we're playing it, it could be, and you're just not picking them up because one, you don't just do that to them, and because they're older and at the time and have injuries, and so you have to do things very like in a way, and we always did, but that would be it was always more difficult with the larger opponents, and I think anyone would say that because it's just you gotta it limits what your arsenal is to a degree, if that makes sense. John Cena was very easy to wrestle. John, very, very easy. Do I not like being a meme? No, I don't. I think it's fantastic. It's great. I don't understand the like. There's so many memes out there. I think if you're a meme, like for something, if something bad happens, that maybe then like. But at the end of the day, memes are a super popular way to share content with an image or something and elicit an emotion. I don't think eating chips on a video that I intended that I wanted to go viral, and not just that video, every video I want to go viral, where I talk about what I'm doing on other videos prior to that, as far as going into different sectors and doing different things like the hot stuff and all that, right? And different challenges. I don't see how you can make that a negative in any way, shape, or form. Doing something that everybody else does and actually being able to make it go viral. That to me says, hey, this person has something about them that draws people to him regardless of what he does. That is called the it factor or X factor in pro wrestling. It's energy, and I've said that all along. And if you have the ability to draw people to you regardless of what you do, that is a great thing. So I am very thankful for that, and I hope the video continues to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I have people that come up and stop me. They go, "Hey, you're the chip guy that haven't even watched wrestling." And I got people that just know me from wrestling. I got people that know me from both. In the context of, I don't think it's a negative thing because it's not a negative. Eating chips is not a negative thing, right? So if you want to take that and then make that popular, that's great, right? Now there's like, like say, let's just take an example, like the Conor McGregor when he's like against the fence, and that's more of a in his mind, maybe that's more of a negative of a moment that he wishes wasn't captured, right? If that, just to give an example, and where then you have people like putting like maybe that could then, but even so, it's still something that people are drawn to him and the attention that they make it a meme. So I think that is one of the cool things. And most people, and I have memes from wrestling, and I don't see like I don't understand anyone that thinks it's a negative. I don't understand it. So I certainly don't. Like, and I've talked about it too. There was a girl at the coffee shop. She goes, "Oh my god!" She goes, "I know you did just from wrestling." She goes, "Last night my friend sent me the meme of the chips." She goes, "I go, yeah, yeah." I go, "That seems to be pretty popular." She's like, "Congratulations!" She goes, "That's so cool. How does it feel?" Like in her head, it was the greatest thing ever, and that's why it's crazy to me that there's different like some people like because I've seen like some of the comments will go, "Oh, my man fell hard. He was a WWE wrestler. Now he's a meme." And I go, "That's just somebody. One, we're going to hide them and never have to deal with that mindset ever again." But like, are you not understanding like what I'm doing and with business in my life and what I'm garnering with attention and doing on social media? Like now, if it would have been me out of wrestling, fat, hair grown out, depressed, sad, and it's just me eating chips, like just overweight, right? Now that's a negative because my life is a downward spiral. I'm not wrestling, the injuries and right with everything, but it's not in the context of what's happening. So I don't associate it as a negative in any way, shape, or form. Super chat Joe Mayers, thank you very much for the coffee money. Do you have an all-time WWE crush? Bailey, maybe. No, I don't. There's nobody, and I'm not up there around any of the divas. Bailey was there when I was there. Bailey's very sweet, very nice. Mark for life. Mark for life liked Bailey, but no, Bailey's very sweet. They're all great for the most part. And there's some I didn't really. There were a few stay away from that I thought were pretty negative and just were in the sense and it was what it was. But I get along with everybody pretty much, and even the ones that were negative, I got along with. I just try not to have to listen to them. Yeah, meh, 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 meh. Great question, though. Thank you very much, Gamer. On your stock has risen. If you make a surprise return, it'll be money. I do believe under the right circumstances, it's going to be amazing. And I believe because of the social media suppression, we're going to hear it because I've heard it my whole career. And I think the audience will, and it will, I think it's going to be a cool, cool thing. And it will happen. I have no doubt. I've put in the work and I've kept the right mindset and I'm in a very good place in life. No, good question, Will. On should characters remain private? No social media. Seems like the old school secrecy is gone. How does that affect the product? No, I think you got to evolve and change with the times. And I think that we have the luxury of connecting on a way deeper level that you never got to connect with before. And I do believe though, like as far as no, so here's I'll give you an example. If I go back to wrestling and I'm not talking on TV, if I'm just going out and I'm killing people, I just not WCW Sting not speaking. In that sense, then I don't need to be doing this stuff for the time being until I'm speaking again, right? I think that would be very counterproductive to the character on TV on that and talking on all my real life stuff, even though you could still do it and it's a character, I think that takes away from it because the believability aspect. And that's an extreme example. But I believe that as far as character stuff goes, that you want to try to protect what you're doing on TV as much as possible. But see, here's the key in all of this is this is what I want. I chose to just go my full personality on social media, and I think you guys have all seen me angry and intense. You've seen me when I get pissed off on here, And I believe if you could be yourself on TV as much as possible, despite the role, but you find a way to not go too far away from who you are internally at your core, and you just turn it up, that you could then do this stuff and do it in your own unique individual way, right? But it depends again on the character and what you're doing and how far away that character you're playing is from your real personality. And we see it. There's a drastic difference with people with how the characters playing. Like, can you imagine, like, you know, if and just trying to take an extreme, Braun, this big, crazy, jacked up killer, when Braun and he debuts and or he's wearing the sheet. Let's go Braun in the sheet mask when Braun was with the Wyatt family, he's wearing the black sheet mask. And then Braun, he's out on TV, he's a killer. And then later that night, he's on social media, like, "Hey guys, what's going on? Damn it! Ah, let me tell you how exciting Raw was tonight." Like, so if somebody's on TV doing that, and then they're that drastically different in real life on their social media, yes, I think it takes away. So you need to find a way to make it as close as humanly possible of how you really are in playing a character. Does that make sense? And that's my opinion, but I believe social media is so cool and allows us to connect on so many ways. And it's just when you're that, you got to. It's just there's a way to do it. There's a way to do it. That was, yeah, that was a pretty extreme example, but I'm trying to prove a point here so you guys understand. What else do we have going on? That wasn't a Braun Strowman impersonation. That was if Braun acted like that off social media, but did another way. He doesn't act like that. You could plug me in if I was quiet killer Ryback and then coming on, "Hey guys, what's going on?" Walter, have a good night, buddy. Thank you for stopping by, swinging in, and I hope you have a great night and everything goes smoothly, buddy. We've got another super chat here. Haha, that Braun Strowman on social media voice. That wasn't Braun Strowman. That was me playing an example of an extreme different character. But Braun, he doesn't act like that. But I'm saying that's like you should have just used me so people can't. You want to play. You want to be as close to your identity as far as how you talk, right? You don't want to be drastically different. I'm trying to think, and it's I think it does apply like with the talent that are like if they're doing something where you're a loner on TV and yet you're doing like dancing videos with the divas after that kind of takes away and that's up to the individual talent to kind of like, well, maybe just do videos by yourself on social media until the storyline runs its course, right? So there's ways, and you got to be smart enough to do that. And if you don't, you take away from your own angle, which takes away from the promotion's money in a way, which maybe they don't invest in you as heavily. So there's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do stuff. But I think ultimately using social media is very beneficial, especially because you want to gain your following and you want to take them back to the wrestling business. We all need that as much as possible. William Schaffner, for some reason, I want to see Ryback versus Goldberg retirement match. How would that'd be pretty crazy. Have I seen pictures of Braun? I just saw a picture of Braun. He looked fantastic. I think whatever I don't think that, I think I know the photo you're talking about. And I think there's so many fake photos online. By the way, a lot of Arnold Schwarzenegger's photos have been edited in Photoshop to make him so much larger. There's all these crazy little people out there that do this stuff where people and they look fantastic, but it's like it creates body image issues for a lot of young people. I can look at it. I know I remember seeing the original photo. That's not the original photo, and they even do it with a lot of the pro bodybuilders now, where they make them massively bigger than what they are, even though they're big is all hell to begin with. But you never know with social media what's real, what's not real. What's my advice for someone who wants to learn a new language? I want to learn some Italian because I could possibly speak a little bit of it. I think you just devote a little bit of time each day. You get a Rosetta Stone program, and maybe go that route and devote, whatever amount of time you can devote per day. Obviously, the more time you devote per day, the quicker you should get more results, right? I think those something sustainable, that you're going to stick to long term. If you could do 30 minutes a day or an hour a day, 5 days a week, or whatever you want to do. If you want to take weekends off, I think come up with I'm a big believer in baby steps. Just doing, even if we just doing a little bit a day, if we get consistent with that, we're going to get results that are so much more than the average person. Even though if you go all in, even go hungrier, and there's always you go, well, if you compare yourself, you go, well, this guy learned Italian in a year because he just went balls to the wall, and maybe it took you 3 years because you took baby steps. At the end of the day, you still learned Italian, right? There's just people do things at different rates and speed. The key is doing it at something you're going to stick to, would be my opinion. What About Bob, the movie What About Bob, Baby Steps, taught me such a valuable lesson when I was young. And Bill Murray, highly recommend for you youngsters out there, What About Bob? Beowulf says, jumping off the vegan wagon, what meat or meat dish do you pick? So I think if it's lab grown, if we're gonna go lab grown, or it's again, a lot of the stuff is flavorings for me though. But I will say I always enjoyed going to the like Texas Day Brazil, the steakhouses and whatnot in those places. I loved the Buffalo Wild Wings and Pizza Hut chicken wings. Huge garlic parmesan and buffalo hot or medium buffalo wing fan. But a lot of that is the sauces, and I could have those on the foods and like or they satisfy that urge for me. But and I think just now, like knowing that what I'm putting into my body is not benefiting me overrides the taste and satisfaction from it. Does that make sense? But I mean, if you're gonna say like, hey, you can just we're gonna just throw everything, all what you now believe in and things, probably at a Brazilian steakhouse, and then and while I'm there, I also Postmates Pizza Hut garlic parmesan and buffalo wings to the Brazilian steakhouse. Um, yeah, that would probably be the one. Yeah, what about Bob, man? What it was that's a great movie. But the seasoning is the key with a lot of that stuff. It's just there's levels to all this too. With we overconsume meat in all of it, right? And but the way animals are treated in inhumane ways, and the suffering that goes on with the torturing, that is when you really feel that and you see that and experience that, and open your eyes to it. On top of just knowing that what you're putting in your body is not actually benefiting you, it's actually taking away. And I'm very performance based, so I look at that. I go, it it's just not, it doesn't do it. But if we even, like you say, you just do it every once in a while, it's such a different thing that if you had your own, just say you have land and you have your own cattle, right? And your own hens, and they live full amazing lives, and they die of old age, right? Or at the very end, and they start getting in, you euthanize them, and like you then decide that you're going to consume them. That is such a different thing than what we're doing. And because we're overpopulated and we're over consuming, because it turned into a business. And then, as a lot of these businesses are doing in the world right now, they're pushing out lies to make you think stuff and that you should do stuff. And we're growing up with it. So you don't ever think to question like anything's wrong with the system. So this is why knowledge is power. And we got to look at things and examine things and look at them. And then once you do, you become awakened to like what's going on and whatnot. And it's the overconsumption of meat and dairy is just absolutely astronomical, and it's destroying the planet, it's destroying lives, and it's like we have the choice to either value life or not value life. And I get it. I understand life is not perfect and not easy. And there's other animals kill other animals, and the law of the jungle, and like I get it. I get it. But we have everything that we have to thrive and prosper and and live better lives. And it's just, but again, it's the overconsumption is where it's really, and that's causing so much destruction. And it comes from an individual standpoint of we have to look in the mirror and realize that, like, you go, because that's how I used to go, well, I'm not causing it, I'm just doing, it's just me, I'm not causing the problem by myself, right? I don't, and then I would never connect the animal life. Oh, I'm not, well, that the stuff I'm eating is not part of that, even though it was, but I was just in denial with it. And it's each individual choice that we make, that when we get that burger, or we get the wings, or we get the fish patty, or whatever we get, that is contributing to the cycle of destruction, right? Because that then creates the demand where they order more from the manufacturers, from the factories, which is then more death. And it's just this horrible, horrific pattern. And we just gotta, it's why ever it's wise that even if you don't go full vegan, to look into learning the plant-based diet and incorporating more fruits and vegetables into the diet, and because you will increase your health doing so. Good to see you, Hulk Hogan. Great, appreciate you joining the live. Hulkster in the house, everybody. Matt Smith, thank you, buddy. It feels good to be performing at my best in the gym. Your supplements have helped me in my journey. Thanks, Ryback. Thank you, man. It's so cool. Again, like, to the love and support on all this. I'm truly giving you guys everything with this, and to put a lot into this. And so when I get positive feedback, it really means the world to me from you guys. And I just ask you guys, and I give the discounts and things. If you guys could leave positive Amazon reviews on the products, it really, really does help. And we have that incorporated into the website. And we're getting the Finish It BCAAs, or just got approved today. I had to go over all the documents on that from the company, the reseller, and the cotton candy and raspberry lemonade. They will be connected on Amazon. We have the new product page getting ready to go live, where you could buy both from the same product page. They won't be separated anymore, and with much better product page for that. And as we get all the supplements transferred over to them, and all the professional listings where they're really, really top notch on Amazon, because this is, I'm very thankful that we've been able to get this all in place, especially before I go back to wrestling, because it's just going to allow things to go so much smoother, and allow me to truly be the CEO and delegate responsibilities to people, where I could just look at numbers, look at reports, and make decisions while I'm moving. And going to be balancing a lot. But it's so much better that I got this out of the way now than trying to do it while I was wrestling, because it would have been wrestling would have suffered, no doubt. So, but that's why, like, I'm getting the Stairmaster here too, in the sauna. I'm getting myself prepared to have my sanctuary here, being able to be my best and cut down on travel time, on things. And because I got all my stuff from work, I got everything. I got a very blessed with this, and I'm just kind of getting everything in place for because I can, and I'm very big on preparation to shift this thing into overdrive. And I think it's gonna be a pretty cool thing. But I greatly appreciate all your guys' love and support with the supplements, man. Any good book recommendations? The Real Anthony Fauci is a book every single one of us need to read, and be awakened to what this guy is, what he stands for, and the destruction he has caused, dating back into the 70s and 80s. Please read it. And with that, guys, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's show. And I got to get a bunch done. I got to take the dogs out, and I got to go over some stuff for Feed Me More Nutrition still. So I greatly appreciate it. Check out our final night, final hours for our 30% off Black Friday sale. It ends tonight at midnight Pacific. Discount code Black Friday 30. It will be in the description and comments. Black Friday 30 on feedmemore.com. You get the free Feed Me More Nutrition shaker bottle. premium shaker bottle and our entry into our $1,000 cash giveaway. Whether you buy 1 supplement or 10, you get an entry with every purchase, increasing your odds. And on December 1st, I'll be calling one of you guys, giving you $1,000. So you guys got some Christmas money. Hopefully it lands in the right hands with all of that. So thank you once again, guys, for everything. Have a great evening. Enjoy some football, pro wrestling, and stay hungry, my friends. Feed me more. Thank you.